All right. Hello, Internet. It's time for another Wednesday serial. This is going to be a little different. I'm not in the other room. If you were there, you'd see all the computer parts. I'm putting it together so that I can get back to doing stuff. I'm hoping to kind of step up my game now that I have a computer that could actually do stuff. But I kind of want to talk about this week's comics because it's been a while, and it's what we do, right? So I really want to talk about this week because this week smells of death. And so it's going to be kind of interesting for me going forward. First up, Multiversity has ended. I know some people wanted to talk about it. I would love to. If you want to set up a hangout with me or something sometime, that'd be really great. Um, I, I can't even dive in yet. Next up, Batman. Oh man! And once you read the comic, you really need to get this cover, not their weirdo movie cover. I can't even like. So it's definitely an ending, and it's interesting in that respect. In some ways, I think Snyder kind of took a few more cues from Miller than I would have thought at first, and that kind of shone to light to me with this. It was really powerful. It kind of redoes the entire arc for me, but it still doesn't earn some of the flubs earlier in the run. But for 40 issues, it's a really interesting run of Batman. At least I think so. I'm not as versed in Batman. Uh, man, I'm curious to see. People have said, this is the end of Snyder's and Capullo's run, but I thought they were doing the next chunk of Batman. Either way, this is kind of a definitive ending for something, so that's cool. And I'm very much for definitive endings, even when they're fake. Next is Daredevil, and you can feel this run burning down, but man, as we're getting there, it's fascinating. What's really interesting to me, actually, is the costume issue. On the cover, you get good old DD, the way you expect to see him. But in the book, it's Daredevil in this three-piece suit with the whole red thing, and I think it's a cool new look, but it's also really interesting me that they're doing that now. That Daredevil, if at any time for multimedia purposes, they should be keeping him in the classic suit. They're not, and they're letting this crazy new thing go on, which to me is great because that's very pro comics for the sake of comics. And it's just interesting. I wonder if part of that was written in as Wade's little dig for, comics first, if you will. So I don't know. Uh, Again, what a great issue this was, and the way it's building, the way they're playing with the costume, the idea of identity, and how that's not really necessarily making things as safe as Murdoch would have thought. It's such a great play. And to see where it goes next, we'll see. I don't know. Spider-Man and X-Men, I don't know if you can see here, my copy's banged up, so I'm going to try to get it replaced. But this was the final issue of this run, and what a fun ride. What a cool little thing to say. And it was just it was a nice wrap up to something that was, for 6 issues, quite a series. This thing moved. And I think there's a lot to be said. If you're looking to check it out, 6 issues just ended. I'm sure there's going to be a trade out at some point soon. And that would be a heck of a read, I think. So, check that out if you get the chance, because I know a lot of people weren't reading that. And then finally, dear Lord, Turtles this week. The twists and turns. What's really interesting is I hope it really puts a dent in that speculator market of people going, "Oh, this issue's gonna be worse stuff." I hope now it's not. Um, but the interesting interplay here, I don't think it spoils anything to say, is this idea of the victory of spirituality versus technology in a way, but it's also a blending as well. And it's a really interesting way to play with that. And these are things that have been at odds throughout the series. And now that I'm seeing that usage with Donatello here, I'm seeing past my, outburst initially, as many people were, especially because where that ended, and you don't really see it till this issue. But seeing why they did what they did with that character, and then seeing it in this issue, it makes for such a great story. That how can you say no to that? That's how you use that sort of emotional impact and that sort of moment with the character in a way that pushes not only your story forward, but pushes themes forward, like pushes thought forward, and makes you put down the comic and kind of consider something larger. And for that, I mean, what a great read. So, this is more like an average week for me, but now that a lot of the other stuff has ended, I'm getting lighter weeks and I'm digging it. Getting awesome, just grade A stuff every time I flip a page. That's a feeling that's hard to beat. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now, but because so many things are ending, as I said, it's going to be interesting to see how things are going forward. But I'm just going to write it out for now and then we'll see. So, peace, and I'll catch y'all soon.